What's going on, guys? I'm Zach from the Lumios Post, where we talk about all things Pokemon, and today we'll be talking about my personal biggest wishes for the upcoming games, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Now, before we begin, I will preface this video by saying this is purely opinion-based. I don't know of anything that's coming in this game. These might even sound outrageous and might sound stupid to you, and some of them may not even sound likely. But these are just what if I could make Scarlet and Violet anything I wanted it to be, what that would be. Now let's dive right in. So my biggest wish for Scarlet and Violet, I'm gonna begin this with my biggest, is one that I personally don't think is that outrageous to ask, but I do think that it is unlikely, just looking at Sword and Shield, and that is that all starters be in this game. Now, the reason I want this is because I feel like I've accepted there's a Dex cut. I've accepted that. I'm okay with that. I even can kind of see some of the benefits of that. But I remember back when they announced the Dex cut, you know, the first games that had that was Sword and Shield. They had said that they promised that there would still be many fan favorites in the game. And I never dreamed that there wouldn't be all the starters in there. When I got Sword and Shield, the base game actually only included the data for the Galar starters, obviously, the Kanto starters, and the Alola starters, with Blastoise, Venusaur, and the Alola starters not even being available until home compatibility came that following February. Sword and Shield came out in November, and that following February, there was the home update. They eventually, with the Crown Tundra DLC, added the Hoenn starters as well, but that never sat well with me that there were only 4 gens of starters out of 8 gens of starters in the games. I feel like the best way to ensure you have much of the fan favorite Pokemon in the game is to make sure you have all the starters in the games. And they put all the Legendaries in the games. As of Crown Tundra, all the Legendaries were added in. But I don't know why they didn't do all the starters. You know, everyone's first Pokemon is a starter. It's one of the starters are Pikachu and Eevee, depending on the game you played. So I feel like it's absolutely inexcusable to not have all of them in. It's not that many. There's not that many starters. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, there's less than there are Legendaries, and they fit all those in. I really feel like that's something that should have been there, especially with Greninja being voted the #1 most favorite Mon, and it was nowhere to be seen in Generation 8. Now, to move on to number 2, this is something else that I feel like might be a little unrealistic, but that is to have engaging and rewarding battle facilities in the post-game of this game. So, I don't expect a battle frontier. I'm fine if it's just one facility, but I miss when there were facilities in Pokemon games that there was kind of an end goal, you know, like the Battle Tree and the Battle Tower in Galar, they all had no end goals. You kind of just could keep battling. There were some rewards as you got to certain points, but there was no end goal. And that was the thing I loved about the Battle Frontier, was that there were these symbols you could get. And then the Battle Frontier in Platinum, Heart Gold, and Soul Silver, there were little, I guess, cards that you could get, and then you could get them colored in when you beat them a second time. Again, that was a smaller thing, but I do like having something you're working towards. I think that makes the battle facilities much more fun, much more engaging, and more like a story, too. You know, like, there's more of a point behind doing this battle tower. There's more of a point behind doing this facility. Obviously, in a dream world, I'd say let's have a battle frontier, let's have multiple facilities, but I'm really fine with there just being one facility, so long as there is a end goal to that facility. There is something you get for doing it, and it's not just kind of battle until you drop. My last big wish for Scarlet and Violet is, once again, one that's might be unrealistic, but that is a decent deck size. Again, I fully accepted that there is a dex cut. I genuinely am okay with the dex cut, but I do hope that they're not gonna cheese us with the number of Pokemon in this game. Like, I did always feel like in Sword and Shield, there could have been more than 400 in the base game. I did think it was kind of ridiculous that there were less than half the Pokemon. That kind of floored me. And eventually I got over that, especially because the DLC added a little over 200 to that 400, making it 600 out of a little less than 900 at the time. Now they're over 900, but that was because of Legends. I hope that this game does something similar. I really am worried that with the improved graphics, it might get a Legends Arceus deck size, which was 242 Pokemon, I believe. Probably a little bit more than that when you include Mythicals. But I hope that this game certainly has more than that. I would hope that it would at least have 400. And to be honest, I would hope that this one would start with 500. I kind of feel like even if you're not going to do all the Pokemon in the game, the more Pokemon you have that exist, the more Pokemon that should be in the game. Especially because, again, I understand there's so many Pokemon. They say they can't put them all in. That's whatever. But they can put in more than they did in the base game of Sword and Shield. And to be honest, they could put in more than was in the base game plus the DLC of Sword and Shield. And I hope that they don't cheese us with that, especially given that after the Crown Tundra DLC, they kept using Sword and Shield as VGC, and it was just 2 years of just the same 600 something Pokemon. And they really, with all these other Pokemon being available, and even you being able to use them in Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, Legends Arceus, they really should have started patching even just small amounts, even if it was just like a batch of like 30 Pokemon to Sword and Shield every year, just to make competitive a little bit better and less stale. I guess it worked out because there was no Worlds during all of Gen 8, with the first Worlds for Gen 8 actually taking place this year. But I really feel like they should correct that mistake this time around, since we're hopefully coming out of this COVID thing, and there will be a VGC bracket each year for this gen. Well, there you have it, guys. That's my biggest wishes for Scarlet and Violet. Be sure to let me know in the comments what your biggest wishes for these games are, as unrealistic as they might be, and let me know how realistic you think mine are. Be sure to subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and liking the video always helps too, as that greatly helps the channel, and it'll help you stay up to date on all our future Scarlet and Violet videos. We've got tons coming, and the more Scarlet and Violet news we get, the more videos we'll be able to put out. And like I said, we've got a ton coming. You don't want to miss it. Subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and sharing always helps too. Well, until next time, I will see all of you